2. Well, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you are in the world. And thank you for joining this Techstrong learning experience. My name is Cody, and welcome back to Techstrong Learning. Before we dive in, I have just a couple of notes to review with everyone. First off, we are recording our session today. So if you miss any of our conversation, or if you'd like to rewatch at a later point in time, we will be sure to send you an email with a link to access the recording from today's session. Now, if you'd like to get involved, there are a couple of ways to do so. For your questions, we do want you to submit those to the Q&A panel on the right side of your screen. And for any other general comments, we do want you to use the chat section. So feel free to let us know in that chat section from where in the world you're joining us today. Now, after we conclude today's session, we will be selecting 2 attendees to win a $50 Amazon gift card. So ways to become eligible for this giveaway are to send in your chats, your questions, or to fill out our survey that is going to be attached to the resources section on the left side of your screen. Or I will post the link in the chat at the top of the hour. Either way, we'll take you to our survey. We'd really appreciate you filling that out for us. So to dive right on into things, today's topic is AI model mastery, ruling governance like a pro with the mighty frog. I'm joined today by Batel Zohar, developer advocate at JFrog. Batel, thank you so much for joining us today. I'll let you take it away from here.
Thank you very, very much, Cody, and I'm happy to be here. So let's start. So as Cody said, whenever you are, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I hope you're going to like this session. And today we're going to talk a little bit about AI, ML models, and I would like to start with, can we trust our AI? Do you think it's something that we can trust today and we can easily just create maybe a little bot that help us to create our sport in that case, right? Maybe some of you saw this gag before. It's basically a shipping company bot, and companies love bot, right? It's so much easier. It's saved me customer support. It saved me cost, time. I'm getting 24/7 support very easily. And actually, I'm really love that it can write me some songs and some stuff, right? Who don't like to use ChatGPT and generate some silly stuff sometimes? But in that case, I don't think it was the smarter idea, right? So in that case, someone just asked the bot if he can provide him a better delivery firm, and probably there is something better, and apparently the bot was pretty harmful and showed that the company is the worst delivery firm in the world, apparently. So we need to think twice before we're letting our AI tools to be so harmful sometimes, and we want to make sure that they are secure, that we have the best solution, end-to-end solution. And what is an AI or what is an ML? I'm trying to cover all of these things today and showing you a great solution, an end-to-end solution to support you from the development to your distribution. So just a little bit about me, all right? My name is Batel. The meaning of Batel in Hebrew is daughter of God, but Bat means daughter and El mean God. So I asked DALL-E to create me an image. Every session, I'm kind of asking it to provide me the best image for daughter of God. So that's what you got today. So I have 2 kids and 2 doggies, Saul, Benjo, Eitan, and Alma. And I love to talk about DevSecOps and working on the development almost 10 years in the industry, something like that. I was embedded development a long time ago. I was part of JFrog support, the technical account manager, and today I'm a developer advocate in JFrog. So if you want to get hold of me later, I'm always happy to help. Really, feel free to reach out to me on email, LinkedIn, Twitter. This is my QR for LinkedIn if you want to meet later on. And I love a sentence that one of my colleagues told me: I never met a stranger, so really feel free to reach out to me. And now let's start, right? What is AI? I guess that most of you heard about it before, so I'll do that really quickly. Artificial intelligence refers to simulation of humans' intelligence processes by machine, especially computer system. Sound pretty simple, right? Nothing too crazy or too advanced in that case so far. And I believe that development for AI is very similar to software development, and I'm going to show you in this session how we're going to use it, how we can secure it, and why it's so similar, for my opinion. So let's start with the AI ML landscape. Do you think it's really exploding, right? We see more and more companies every day, actually, that creating more and more stuff that's related to AI and ML. And we see a lot of models, and we can see violations, of course, and validations and training and deployment. And there are so many things in this landscape, which is very important. And there is tons of different tools that sometimes doing the same thing just a little bit better, right? But what do you think will happen with this case in a year or two, right? It's going to be bigger and bigger. And it's a great place actually for hackers to try to hack these places too, right? They're trying to get to those different areas to get more and more information and basically hack them and get their treasure in that case. So let's talk a little bit about developing an app versus developing an ML model. So whenever I'm developing an application, it's pretty simple. I'm writing my code as a software engineer. Of course, I'll have some bugs during it, so I need to fix them. And then I'm building the software with my DevOps engineers that probably going to help me to manage the automation, the builds, and deploy them. And then last thing is to deploy to production, right? The things that we love the most, it's running on production. We have the version, then we'll monitor and maintain it. And if we're talking about ML models, I think it's pretty much the same. It's different people, like we have the data scientist instead of the software engineer that's going to define, label, and organize the training data. Later on, we'll have the model, right, that it's kind of ready. And here we'll have the research engineer that was going to develop the model. He will create the algorithm, it will train it and analyze the model. And maybe our ML engineer will help us to implement and deploy them and monitor and maintain the ML models, right? So it sounds pretty similar, right? And we change a little bit the titles. We're still developing something, but it's very, very similar here, from my opinion. Now, we have model, right? And let's talk about model as a package. What we need to know in that case and how it's actually working. So first, we have dependencies, right, for the models too, because we don't want to create a wheel. We want to take something that's already working. Maybe we'll change it a little bit, right? We'll just do another function, maybe edit a little bit something that we already have. Then we need to make sure that we have all of the information about the package, right? We want to make sure who downloaded it, when he downloaded it, so we can tracking later on for anything we need inside our organization. Another thing is the OSS licenses, right? Since we're using some dependencies, we want to make sure that we are not using any OSS license that can be harmful for my company, like Apache or something that I don't want to use. There is tons of other examples of why organization got sued, because they use an open source licenses and then they need to share their code, and of course they didn't want to do that. So what else? What kind is this package, right? What we're talking about, is this gonna be a Python packages, or what we're going to create there? Which version is it? Is it mature enough so we can use it, or it's not ready yet? And of course, in that case, the most interesting part today, does it have vulnerabilities? Do you think it could have any vulnerabilities? And can we defend our organization in that case? So let's talk a little bit about Hugging Face. If you didn't heard about Hugging Face before, it's pretty interesting. It's kind of a central place where all the developers and data scientists upload the trained models. So again, similar to code, right? If I want to take an image from Docker Hub, for example, I'll just go to Docker Hub, download it, change whatever I need in the layers, and create my own image based on it. Similar, I can easily do with Hugging Face. I can go to Hugging Face, see the models, the spaces, the databases, whatever the data assets, whatever I need, and just take it and change it a little bit according to my needs. Now, not only one, there are several more like Kaggle and others, but today we're gonna focus on Hugging Face, but just keep it in mind that it's not the only one. And Hugging Face this time, it's a major source for pre-trained models, and we can easily accelerate the process of AI application, creating models and training. So you can easily find it later on. So, and if you didn't heard about Repository Manager today, it's also pretty interesting. So I hope most of you are familiar with it already, but if not, I promise I'll cover it and feel free to ask me later on. So Repository Manager is a universal binary repository manager. And why we need a universal binary repository manager? It's basically will be my single source of truth for all of our artifacts or my dependencies. In case that I'm writing the software, let's go back for the developer for a minute. I'm gonna downloading some dependencies. I'm gonna create my CI/CD. I'm gonna distribute my software. I want to make sure that I have one place that I can track anything in there. Let's call it kind of a server, right? So I want, in case that something happened, I can easily have everything again. So one of the advantages, of course, is also to proxy their remote repository. So let's say that I download something from npm.js and tomorrow morning something don't work, I don't have internet access, or something happened in the server, I still need those dependencies, and therefore I'm gonna proxy them, I'm gonna cache them, and have it locally. And of course, the dependencies for my CI manager will work against it, so it's still alive. I have everything I need to keep my software running, and I'm gonna release fast. So before I have the repository manager, it looks like the left side. You can see here that I have the developers that taking directly from the website and then writing to their database. And in our case, we have Artifactory in the middle that will be our server, our proxy, and will take everything from our Artifactory. I think it's pretty clear. Now, let's take some examples, right? Why we really need it. So this is pretty old when I just started to develop, I think even a little bit before, but I think it was 2014, don't catch me in the exact year, but basically we had issues with leftpad. So what is leftpad? Leftpad is a JavaScript dependency, and whatever when leftpad maintainer decided to remove it, and that's okay, right? It's my package. I decided to remove it one day, but actually it wasn't that simple. It was very useful because with leftpad they created kind of a padding that sounds pretty simple, but people just use it again and again instead of creating it. So a lot of other tools and other projects use this specific dependency of leftpad. But what we're gonna do if one day it just disappear, right? The maintainer decided just to remove it from npm.js, and many developers use this dependency. And for that, the npm.js maintainers need to rewrite the package and create it again. But it was a disaster. A lot of people said something like they broke the internet, right? Things didn't work as expected because a lot of companies use this dependency. So we don't want to have these issues, right? We want to make sure that we have our dependencies, everything working as expected. And if there is security vulnerability, we will fix it. So let's talk about ML model management and Artifactory. So this is Artifactory. We support more than 32 different package types. If we're talking about Docker, Bower, Chef, NuGet, Hugging Face, and much more in the future. So if we're talking about ML models, customers already use Docker, right, to manage their ML production. So we support it. We can manage it also inside our Artifactory. Now, of course, we also have some customers that using Artifactory to cache and manage the packages from PyPy, which is part of the development, and we have Hugging Face. So we added ML models to Artifactory, and it's simply a simple addition to extension the use case for machine learning so easily. We can store anything on Artifactory, and I'm going to show you today how we're going to do that. Super simple, super quickly. And now let's focus on security. So X-ray, why we need JFrog X-ray? X-ray will help us to find some vulnerability, and it will do some vulnerability analysis and remediation. So in case that we have any security vulnerability, we can easily see how we can fix it. It's also checked for licenses compliance. I'll get all the information about my artifact metadata and metadata impact analysis, so I can easily see all of the information about it. And I have the integration with the DevOps workflow. So now I'm going to take one step back for the hacker side, right? So let's move one step each time about curation, creation, and so on, and see how the hacker actually can get into my organization and try to hack it. So first we have curate. We have malicious package. We can just easily add any malicious package to the environment. I guess that some of you had heard about Log4j, right? Last time it was horrible, the crazy Friday of Log4j. I don't want to have it again. So I want to make sure that I can easily scan my dependencies, curate my dependency, and validate it that they are the right one, and sign it with my SBOM later on to make sure that I have the recording of everything. Now, my second thing here is the creation, right? 0 day could be exposed today or in an hour or maybe tomorrow, but it could be any time. So we need to make sure that we're checking our software again and again and scanning it to make sure that if we'll have any 0 day, we still be able to get the information and be secure. So we need dependencies sussed and validate the dependencies and make sure that we are secure. Third thing is the packages, the exploit packages, right? We have CVs all over, and we want to make around actually 80% of the code is reusable code. So we want to make sure that we are using someone else. So whenever we are using someone else's code, we need to make sure that we are secure, that we don't have CVs that are critical in some cases. And we want to make sure that we're scanning the dependencies again and again. So we have this one too. Promotion. We want to make sure that we don't have secret. And come on, I'm sure that almost each and every one of you had any issues with secret, right? By mistake, I just uploaded my keys to GitHub or just exposed the name of the IP or anything similar to that. We want to make sure that we're not exposing any password, any secrets, any names of the machines or whatever I need. I need to make sure that I'm secure this way too, so the hacker won't steal my secret and they will be able to do a lot of stuff, and this is a huge deal. And we want to make sure that we also have some different ways to attack these two. Then we have the distribution. Super important too, misconfiguration, right? We want to make sure that the configuration and the right policy are applied on that stage. So we won't have any apps security issues in my application. Then we have the deployment with the binaries. We need to make sure that the packages that we uploaded to production remain the same. We need to make sure that the hacker didn't tamper the binaries. And here there is a lot of examples too, right? We change a little bit the name. We just mimic a little bit the name. By mistake, the developer downloaded another package, and then it was an issue too. And of course, whenever we're already running in production, we want to make sure that the attacker, we have continuously scan on the runtime to make sure that the environment is up and running as expected, and we won't have any issues there. So we had some examples like the OS system had some vulnerabilities, right, in my server that are running in production. What we're going to do next, and so on. So this is just a simple example, and we want to avoid it too. So I think it's a great time for the demo, right, to see how it's actually work. So in that case, I have this really cute cat. So he decided to be a frog. Cool, right? Let's see if my AI model will be able to block it in case that I have any security vulnerabilities. How we're gonna see the security vulnerabilities and basically detect them, remediate them in case there is anything. And let's see if it's really a frog, right? It sounds really reliable with this. Trust me, I'm a frog. So let's move on to my environment. All right, just a second. All right, I hope everybody can see my screen with my Artifactory. But before my Artifactory, let's go back to my VS Code. Let's take it out. We don't need it. Let's go to my VS Code and run my model. So I'll share with you the link later on so each and every one of you can easily run it and test it by itself. It's a very simple project. I use this notebook to see how my Artifactory will get a model, what it's going to do there, and a feature of X-ray. So first, trust me, I'm just setting up the Hugging Face. You can see that it's running very easily. My endpoint is my Artifactory, and we'll go into my Artifactory later on to see how it works. Then I have my PyPy packages that I'm going to use here. So you can see all the dependencies that I'm going to using. So it's running. We're good. We got it. Now I'm going to import Hugging Face very quickly. And since I run it already this morning, it's much more faster because I already have it locally. And let's run the demo. So first, I'm just adding the image of our amazing cat that really want to be a froggy, right? It could be a froggy, I hope. So do you think our model will gonna trust it? Let's take the Hugging Face model. So in that case, first of all, I find something that's checking about a picture if, trying to get the layers, trying to make sure that it's matching to the frog in that case. And I just run it. And I said, if there is any security vulnerabilities, please block it by X-ray, by the policy that called blocked unknown licenses. And in that case, it was with unknown license, where I'm going to show you in Artifactory how it's going to look like. So I have the model, it's blocked, and therefore I need to change it because X-ray won't let me use any model that contains security vulnerability. So I go outside to Hugging Face, search for something similar, and then I found this model on Google. It's called Ovlit Base Patch 32. So I load a new configuration. You can see it here. And now I run it. I didn't have any security vulnerability. You can see the line over here of X-ray blocked model download for violation, but by block the unknown licenses policies. So it didn't block, right? It seems like it's cool. We have the license. We'll go through the license later on and talk about why it's important to have it and how we could create a SBOM and so on. So in that case, again, I'm just running it. Seems like everything working perfectly. Wow, I'm afraid it's demo time. It could be jinx, right? And now I'm searching for the frog. So here is my image. And let's see where are the frogs. So let's run it. So let's see. We have a frog. We have a cat. And it seems like my model really was able to find the froggies here. You can see that I have a square on each and every froggy. And actually, the cat, it's not a frog yet, right? It's just an intruder. So sorry, really, really cute cat. You're not a frog yet. You can easily try and test it. It's really cool demo. And let's go to my environment and talk a bit about the environment, right? What we saw so far, what is the packages that we had, and how we're managing it inside my Artifactory. So this is the JFrog platform. If you didn't saw that before, you can easily try it in our website. Go to the free trial. I think we are going to share with you some links later today too. So I really recommend you to try it. We have here the platform of the Artifactory, X-ray, curation, distribution, and the full end-to-end solution that's gonna show you how to manage it securely and distribute it securely with all the phases inside of your DevSecOps platform. So first, let's go with the Hugging Face, right? So this is my repository, the Devil Hugging Face that I used in order to create the test before to make sure that my cat is a real cat. So this is the model that we used before, the Google, sorry, I want the other one. Let's go here, the bit with base sentiment analysis. So you can see here, first of all, that there was a severity. We have the software components, and we didn't have a license. And that's why it's blocked me. Because I have a policy that telling me that if I don't know the license, please block it. I don't trust it anymore. I want to make sure that I have the OSS licenses inside my organization. And also, apparently, there is also a violation that we had, which is the licenses over here. So you can see that we are going to the files and check the artifact and the version. And I have all the information that I need in order to make sure that later on it's safe. Now let's go back to the Google one over here. So you can see that I have the license. It's using Apache version 2.0. I can see the most common types. I can also create an SBOM, which is pretty cool, right? Because later on I need to show it to my friends, what are the dependencies that I use there to my security guy in my organization. So I can easily just go to the SBOM, copy the link, and export the scan data of two different types too, like PDF, CSV, JSON, SPDX, and CycloneDX are also supported and are really, really cool in that case. But this is our security. Let's take one of the packages to see how it goes. So I have different view here that help me to navigate between all the information that I need here. So it's very straightforward to read it from here. So you can see if it's scanned, what are the licenses, how many versions I have, what are the downloads that I have for this specific package, who are the users that download this package, and much more than that. So let's start with a simple, let's take the Docker one. It's pretty cool, the Alpine one. So I have all the version here. I can see the version that's scanned. I can scan them all. I can scan specific one. In Docker, I can see all the layers that I have here, which is pretty easy to define it later on in case that there is security vulnerabilities, or I just want to see what is the difference between different versions. So it's pretty clear to read it here. I can see the data with the critical and high applicable CVEs, as we said before, that we want to make sure that there is no CVE, or we would like to rescan for more results, right? You see that sometimes there is more results, so I can easily scan it. Now I fix it, so I don't have it anymore. I can scan for software. I can see the software components. I can see the licenses that I sent before, and more vulnerabilities. So this is a great view that I would love to delay a little bit here. And I actually love this one, the JFrog research team. So what's make us different is our amazing research team that working all the time to create more and more vulnerabilities, to search for more security issues. And basically they're giving their extra impact in that case. And I think this is what makes us unique and very powerful, because I can see here the summary of the JFrog research team in very simple words, right? It's a buffer overflow in OpenSSL 3x, and it might lead to remote code execution. Now, easily I can see the remediation. I can just click on it and see the deployment mitigation, how we can do that with a simple curl. I can see all the details here. If I need more and more explanation about it, I can see it here. And the severity reason. So let's go about the score here. You can see here that JFrog security said that severity is high. Sometimes it's not the same. It could be that the CVSS will say that it's not that high. Like here, it's 7.5, which is pretty similar, but it could be 5, and then that we will say that label it as 7 or more or less, and so on. So here I can see all of the information why they think it should be high, right? The issue has multiple mentions in the general media. The issue can be exploited by attackers over the network, and all the information that they need. And of course, we also have contextual analysis, And we have the public sources that you can easily see the CVE, the impacted path. Also, I love the idea that I can deep dive to the exact file in the specific layer, in that case in Docker. So I love that I can easily find it. And I have the references, of course, where we took the information and so on. And everything I need is just in one simple view. And as we said before, here we don't have it, but we can easily scan for secrets, for malicious packages, for services that running application, and much more. And not only that, another cool feature that we have is curation. If you remember in the beginning, the curate. So I want to make sure that malicious package won't even going into my organization. So I can easily add some information to my VS Code, to my IDE, and so on, to make sure that I'm blocking packages that I don't want to have in my organization. The developers won't even get the information about it. Whenever he's trying to download it, it will block him. So we would like to shift left everything, right, and make sure that we are protected and safe from the beginning. So I have everything I need over this platform. I have my distribution too. So whenever I'm ready and created this release bundle, I can easily share it to different locations, to different server, run it on different machines. And I have everything I need in one place. I have my artifacts, I have my security scanning, everything in one place. And of course, I also have the administration tab to manage all of my users, my repositories, my environment, my projects. Whatever will be most comfortable for me, I can easily just create it. And I think that's it for today. Let's go really quick to my presentation. I think it's a great time for some Q&A if I have some, and feel free to ask me anything. So let's go back to my presentation for a second. So it's great time for some Q&A, I think, right?
So it doesn't look like we have received any questions from our audience just yet. So I do want to let everyone in our audience know that on the left side of your screen, there is the resources section. We have our survey there for you. If you wouldn't mind clicking that and filling it out for us. Otherwise, if you do have any questions, feel free to send those in using the Q&A or the chat feature. We do still have a few moments here. So, Batel, what can you tell me about this QR code on the screen? What will that give us?
Oh, it's basically for me. If you want to get reach out to me later on, you can easily scan this QR code. Let's talk on LinkedIn. Let's ask some questions. And I'm actually uploading some data about some development, AI, and so on. So I think you're going to like it.
Very cool. Very cool.
Wow, I'm shocked that there is no questions. Usually there are a lot. Let's see what we have here. ChatGPT is available for some users. Really? Some organization block it. I found it very, very useful for myself. I'm using it, I think, every day, a few times a day. And hi, Intel. Hi, Ari. Nice to meet you. I see here Checkpoint, Ben from Checkpoint, and hello from Lake of Constance, Central Europe. Cool. Nice to meet you, Alexander. So everything was clear, really? Guys, anything that you would like to hear more? All right.
All right. Well, it looks like we've given a pretty good summation of everything today, Patel. Do you have any kind of closing thoughts or anything before we shut things down and bring it on home?
Yeah, sure. I'll send you the free trial. because I think it's pretty cool to try it, and I'll share with you the blog about the project that I used to find the froggy and the cat over there. So just a second. Let's send with you some links. So I have it here.
And if you are watching this on demand, these links will be shared in the handout section for you. So feel free to check those out there.
Awesome. So here is it. Just a second. Can I just share it on the chat? Is that okay?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Awesome. So here we are. We have the trial. We have the project. And thank you very, very much for joining today. It was really fun to be here.
Awesome. Well, Patel, thank you so much for joining us today. I know the time has absolutely flown by, but I know you took us through a lot of really, really good and valuable information. So thank you so much for being here with us on Techstrong Learning.
Thank you very much. Have a great day.
So before I officially release our audience, just a reminder that survey is on the left side of your screen. I've also pasted a link in the chat. Also check out those additional links that Batel has just posted there in the chat. You won't want to miss out on those. Here shortly, we will be emailing you a recording from today's session, so keep an eye out for that. And last but not least, thank you all so much for joining us today. We hope to see you at a future Techstrong Learning experience. Have a great rest of your day, and you may now disconnect. Thanks again, Patel.
Thank you. Have a great day.